Hello, I am Counselor Yemi Adenuga, and I want to ask for a few minutes of your precious time. Today, I speak not just as an elected public representative, but as a mother, a migrant, and a proud Meath woman from Navan. What's happening in Ireland today calls for our collective voice, our courage, and our clarity. On Thursday, the 23rd of November 2023, many will recall that the streets of Dublin erupted into a riot after a man senselessly attacked three young children and a care assistant outside a primary school in Panel Square East, Dublin. The horrific attack obviously sparked panic, and it was scary that an innocent little girl and the care assistant were left critically injured. What followed was attack on Gardaí, burning of buses, looting of stores, and the outrageous spreading of misinformation by some far-right groups, promoting the blaming of all migrants for the horrific actions of one terrible man. Fast forward to Saturday, the 7th of June 2025 in Ballymena, Northern Ireland, where a teenage girl was seriously assaulted by two teenage boys. What started as a video for the teenage girl turned into an anti-immigrant riot, causing homes of migrant families to be attacked. Over 60 PSNI officers were injured and entire communities forced to flee. What began as online scapegoating turned into real-life violence. What the perpetrators did in both Dublin and Ballymena was criminal and reprehensible, plain and simple. But Ireland is a country of rule of law, and we have laws for a reason. Those laws must be allowed to take their course. Mob justice is not justice, it is vengeance, and it destroys trust, it destroys lives. It should not be allowed to destroy Ireland. In a country known for its K. Miller Falter, its 100,000 welcomes, we now face a painful truth. Riots in a capital, homes burned in our towns, people terrorized for who they are or where they come from. This is not the Ireland we claim to be. Ireland is known to be a peaceful country. We cannot allow it to become anything else because of people with ulterior motives. Mobs fueled by people with hidden agendas that make our country look bad cannot be allowed to take laws into their own hands. How did we even get here? Perhaps we already know how. Unchecked online hate, with social media becoming a breeding ground for lies, conspiracy theories, and xenophobia, while some authorities failed to act fast enough. That's a major factor. Certain extremist factions, organized in small but very vocal groups, are manipulating public fears, organizing rallies, and weaponizing crime incidents to justify racism. The political and social silence has been deafening, and systemic political silence has left many communities unsupported. Minority communities have been left to fester with fear without adequate support. Trust has been broken in systems that have not been designed to protect the vulnerable. Worse still, when justice feels slow and services feel stretched, people wrongly take matters into their own hands, targeting the wrong people for the wrong reason. The economic anxiety, looming inflation, housing shortages, and underfunded services have created tension. And so when people need someone to blame, they blame others. And now in Ireland, migrants have become the others. This is now a sad reality, and we must no longer run away from it. Truth be told, our police, North and South, are struggling to contain it, and they're trying their best. They said it could never happen here, but Ireland was different. Welcoming, peaceful, safe. A few years ago, they would have been right. But now, because proper provisions were not made for these kinds of attacks not to happen, it is happening. And it's happened once too many times, on both sides of the border, North and South. They say charity begins at home. So while we are working hard to support those who need our help, we must also fix home so that we don't implode. There's a serious lack of community integration. When people are still called migrants even after living in Ireland for years, and when locals live parallel lives, distrust grows. When and how are we ever going to get to know one another? Many cultural programs and events have been organized over many years, and yet we're still othering. We're certainly not doing something right. And they say the recipe for insanity is when you're doing things the same way and you expect to get a different result. Too many leaders stay quiet, or worse, use coded language that emboldens extremists. Silence is not neutrality, it's complicity. So, what can we do? What should we do? Because it's not what we say that defines us, it's what we do. Should we continue to allow those hate actions define us as a country? I think not. Many have kicked against the hate crime legislation for reasons, to be honest, that just don't make sense. But here is a question for those people who oppose it. What would you rather have in place to combat incidents like this and make hate crime carry real consequences? Because truth is, in any world, racism is not just wrong, it is illegal. If you don't have real solutions, then you are part of the problem. It is important now more than ever to counter misinformation campaigns. Print, broadcast, and social media companies and tech companies must continue to work hard with governments and communities for more public education, for content moderation, and digital literacy, especially in communities vulnerable to online lies. This is not the time for Ireland not to invest in integration, whether at local or national level. It is so disheartening that Ireland does not currently have an active, standalone national migrant integration strategy. Ireland's first formal migrant integration strategy, which was called a Blueprint to the Future, ran from 2017 to 2021, and it was extended to the end of 2021. It included 76 action points across areas such as access to services, education, employment, anti-racism, and community integration. And despite public consultation closing in November 2023, no updated strategy has been published since. While a new national strategy is being expected to launch soon, the questions as to the level of input that migrants had in developing the strategies. At local level, 26 of the 31 local authorities had their own migrant integration strategies for their counties, literally all of which are now expired as they await a national strategy. The National Action Plan Against Racism (NAPA), which is meant to run from 2023 to 2027, has not delivered on its plan on paper, and it feels like Ireland is great at writing absolutely fantastic strategies, but not so great at implementing them. At local level, many council integration strategies that read brilliantly on paper never saw the light of day in implementation. Why? Because while the funds were made available to write the strategies, there was not enough funds to implement them. What are we doing? There is an old saying from the part of Nigeria where I come from originally. Omota ko lo ma gbe leta kota. A child we have not raised will sell off the house we have built. We are certainly not doing something right. While many English language classes, intercultural festivals, and local partnerships that bring people together have been funded over years, we're still at a crossroad. So what are we not doing right? Are our political and community leaders visible enough on these issues? Are they speaking clearly and often to the fact that migrants are not the problem of Ireland? Are they sharing the undeniable contributions of migrants to Ireland's economy? Are they pointing out that migrants are neighbors, co-workers, friends, and even Irish citizens too? Do we have enough community dialogues and safety plans even before conflict arises? How do we create and support real connections between migrants and native Irish to build trust and real integration? What kind of country do we want to be? One defined by fear, or one where we stand up for one another? These are questions we must answer because we're in this together. It's time, now more than ever, to speak up, to challenge hate when you hear it at the pub, in WhatsApp groups, online, and even in person. Solidarity is not a political act, it's a moral one. Many migrants like myself have been trolled, insulted, and threatened for simply working hard to make Ireland a better place. We've been accused of taking jobs by people who either don't have the qualifications or would never have done the jobs in the first place. Some have called us Irish on paper, and some have told us we're not even Irish at all, so we should go back to where we come from. Sorry to bust those bubbles, but this is my home. I have lived in this country for 25 years. I have given to this country, and I've raised 4 beautiful children, 3 of whom were born here, so they're not migrants at all. But many don't even know the difference. I'm a Meath woman from Navan, my hometown, where I will grow old. So I'm not bothered by racist attacks, because I have developed thick skin, but I shouldn't have to endure all that. There are many like me who go through probably worse things, and that shouldn't be happening, not in this age and time. And this is why we should be having those difficult conversations. So here's the deal. We can do one of two things. Get to know one another better so that we can build an island that is beautiful for all of us to live in, or we can continue to stand on the other side of the fence and point fingers at each other as the others. To every migrant contributing their quota to make Ireland a better place, you belong here. Ireland is your home too. Do not retreat into silence or shame. Know that many, our wonderful allies, stand with us and they will not be swayed by misinformation and lies. But we must not be silent, because silence gives violence power and your voice is resistance. No one is safe when hate is normal. We can choose one path of fear and division, or we can choose another to courage and togetherness. Which future will we choose? I dare you to have the audacity to choose a future that brings us all together. If you're ready, I am. Let's work together, because Ireland is our home.